Viking fans, welcome to this week's edition of Viking Talk with Josh Morgan. I'm Brandon Davis, and as always, glad to have with me Warren Central head football coach Josh Morgan. Coach, good to see you again.
You too, Brandon.
A very tough 29-28 loss last Friday night at Brandon. A game that we had, thought we had it, we were going to pull it out. But what did you learn from the team after that game?
Well, we started fast, which was one of our main talking points coming into the game. We wanted to start fast, which we did. We went on a 10, opened up the game 10-0 run and had some things go our way. And they went on a run of their own, and we were able to get things back close and put a really good drive right at the end of the half. So there was a lot of different things going on, especially early on, and liked the tempo of the game. Felt like we were able to take their tempo out, so we ended up finishing the first half, 20-18, and started the second half the same way. We really started fast and jumped back out, and they made one more run than we did, and we didn't finish well. And but really proud of how our guys competed. Really proud of the heart and the level that they were playing at. Played really hard, and we left there with of course disappointed in the loss, but really encouraged about the team that we're building, and that's a big game, a really good team, a really big environment, and I felt like that we definitely had our chances and would love to have some things back and do things better, but it doesn't work that way. And but proud of our guys' fight, and proud of their getting ready to play and going in and really expecting to win and playing to win, which is really good to see.
Yeah, you talked about jumping out 10-0, but you gave up 20 unanswered. You're thinking, oh my goodness, here we go again. But in the second half, you were able to retake the lead. You have to be proud of the resiliency of your team.
Yeah, and we knew they were going to make runs, and we knew that they were really explosive. But there were several games where the game could have got out of hand. It could have got where we couldn't get back in it. But our defense really had a really great mental toughness and played really hard, and we didn't put them in really good spots specifically, and they answered the bell and continue to play and continue to just trust everything. And so our defense played really hard and really gave us a shot to win. And like I said, we just didn't finish very well offensively, but very proud of our guys competing, their mental toughness and not flinching, just continuing to play and continue to grind, and did some things really well. Just again, like I said, they made one more big run than we did, and we just fell short.
Yeah, Aiden Greer, another great night for a senior running back coach. I think 3 touchdowns on the ground. Also got a 2-point conversion in there to close out the first half. Like you said, we went down 20-18. Young man's really running the ball really hard this season.
So Aiden he's a tough guy, and he is he's just a typical Warren Central Viking. Just plays hard, really tough. He's gotten better. His vision has gotten really good, which is what we were hoping for out of a senior running back that's played a lot and gotten better. And Coach Cruz has really done a good job with him and him developing into a true all-purpose back that really does well in pass protection as well. So Aiden has really started off well for us. I was proud. Those yards weren't easy.
No.
Those were tough yards, physical yards, really good defense that we were going against. And so I was very proud of him competing, taking care of the football, and running really hard all night long.
Yeah, very impressed with their defense as well. They did a great job of taking Brandon out of their tempo. We talked about that a lot last week, but mainly because of the play of senior defensive end L.J. Reynolds. Big game for that young man.
LJ has been a big leader for us. I think he's got 16 or 17 tackles for losses this year. You're talking about a really big disruptive force for us. He's steady, constant. He's very consistent. Really gets ready to play, plays the game the right way. Bulked himself up, really worked hard in the weight room. And, again, you talk about guys that they're going into their senior year that's been playing and been experienced, and he's done nothing but gotten better. He's not rested on his laurels and not been complacent. Just a guy that's really worked hard, and I'm very glad to see him getting success. We need him to play like that. But again, a good offensive front, and he held his own and really did a good job for us and made some big plays for us. 3 pass breakups at the line of scrimmage. One led to an interception, 2 sacks. So just a really, really big game from him, and felt like we did have some guys that really picked their game up, and that was good to see.
Yeah, great game for him. He was all over the field. Coach, you had a chance to close this game out. We struggled offensively. We talked about that. Went 1 for 12 on 3rd down of our last possessions here. I know you don't like that stat, but how did you improve in that area in these playoff type of games? Because that was a playoff feel to that ball game the other night.
It was, and you know, I feel like our biggest thing is we're so good offensively when we stay in front of the chains and we get positive yards early in the downs. It keeps us balanced and it keeps the defense on their toes, and we're able to use Maddox in situations where they don't know if we're going to run or pass. We did. We had negative plays on 1st downs and really put us in a hole in situations where they knew what we were going to do and knew what we had to do, and that's just a spot that we've got to be better in and be ready for. But early down success really hurt us there, and you know, I don't think we did a good job overcoming that.
Yeah. This is Viking Talk, visiting with Josh Morgan. Coach, it's a new week and another tough challenge, another 7A opponent when Madison Central Jaguars comes calling this week. Tell us about Toby Collins' bunch this year.
Well, Madison reminds me a lot of us.
Yeah.
They just do. When people ask about the game, and very similar programs, really good special teams, really good kickers, you know, really salty on defense, and really physical running game. And so, you know, it's usually very competitive. It usually comes down to the last possession or close to that. I think you got 2 teams that are coached very similar, have the same kind of thinking and coaching strategies, and really kind of the same kind of players. And it's going to come down to who does it best. But there'll be one of those teams again, like I feel like with Brandon. You're going to see them make big runs this year, and we feel like our guys can do that too. And it's great to see us and have that opportunity to play against them.
Yeah, they're 3-1 on the season. Knocked off Northwest Franklin last week, 28-3. Only loss came at the hands of Brandon earlier, 21-7. Lost to the Bulldogs. A very good team. They're ranked number 7 in the state. They're led by a very good running back, Glenn Singleton. 10 touchdowns so far on the season, averaging about 100 yards a game, Coach. Another big challenge. You faced Tyson Robinson last week from Brandon,
Yeah.
Glenn Singleton this week.
Yeah, so this group of seniors that we have in there have been going at it since their 8th grade days.
That's right.
And they have had some wars and very competitive, and both of them are very talented. So we know a lot about them. Our guys know a lot about them, and you know, played them last year. We won, and I really feel like it was because we won the turnover battle. I think we scored twice on defense, finding a way to scrap and find ways to win there. And it's going to be another challenge like that. I really do feel points are going to be at a premium. You know, the little things, as you mentioned, like playoff football, the hidden yards and field position, and you know, who gives up that big player, who makes that first error or mistake. So it's going to be a 2 teams that I feel like are very evenly matched, and it's going to come down to executing on a consistent basis.
One of their big targets, Micah Jones, a tight end, the senior, 6'5". He is a Florida commit. Only had two receiving touchdowns on the season, but they like to sneak him out, mainly blocks. They like to sneak him out in the red zone, Coach. Let's talk about the discipline you've got to have with your linebackers this week, not to let him run free for touchdowns.
Well, we got to stop the running back, and that's a hard challenge in itself. And then you throw in what they're able to do with the mismatch that he creates. The tight end, speaking of, they use him at fullback, tight end. They'll split him out wide. We've got to know where he is. He's a big part of our game plan. They like to run behind him. They like to sneak him out. They like to delay him and get you on play action. So, and when he catches it, he's hard to bring down. Yeah. And so, you know, really a big challenge for us, and we've got to know where he is, and we've got to have multiple guys there because, again, you know, he's a hard guy trying to bring down. So we feel like we've got a good plan. Run game wise, we're very blessed to have Ronnie and LJ on the ends. They did a good job with him last year, and we need to do a really good job knowing where he is at all times, and making sure that we've got a lot of eyes on him and bodies around him, because he is a mismatch for us.
So, but it's good though. We're blessed. We have Maddox Lynch. You almost can use him as a scout when you're trying to do installs with him, because they're similar in how
That's
they
correct.
play.
Very similar. Very similar. I wouldn't trade Maddox Lynch for anybody any day of the week. And but yes, very similar in their size and the length that they that really creates that trouble with you, because you can have him covered and he's not covered. So got to do a good job with that.
So Jaguar defense are yielding 16 points a game. They are led by Miles Miller, youngster playing linebacker for them, 32 tackles on the season and 4 sacks. What do they do defensively? I know they play usually a 3-man front. What do they do defensively that concerns you?
Well, their D-line are really built like, linebackers. They're really fast and explosive, and when they slant, it's different than other people. They really slant, and they use their quickness and their length and their speed and strength, and you don't get that one step getting vertical. It's a big, violent stem that can really cause problems if we're not ready for it, and really disruptive. And of course, their linebackers are sitting back at about 4 yards, and they are biting on the first thing that they see and really aggressive downhill. So we've got to do a good job having our eyes up second level. Got to make sure we control the first level first, but we got to be able to get to the second level and get a consistent push. They're going to be hard to run the ball on. We're going to have to make some plays offensively on the edges and down the field to get them off of us. And hopefully we can do a good job of being balanced on offense to keep them at bay with what they're trying to do.
When you have 4 linebackers like that, you talked about it, they're off the ball, they're really coming at you. You really have to run right at them. It's tough going sideline to sideline on a bunch like that.
It is. You got to be able to get vertical quickly. You got to get downhill. And anytime you're facing undersized linemen, and I say that, they're not your normal 275, 280 tackles. They're like 245, 250 that can really run, and you got to run at them. And you're exactly right. You got to take that speed asset away and try to use what's a plus for us, which would be hopefully our size up front. So we got to get a good push. It's got to be vertical. And everybody usually tries to stop our outside stretch plays and run plays, and we've got to have a way to combat that.
Vikings offense scoring 31 points a game. You're yielding 19 so far in this non-region campaign. What have you learned about this team so far, Coach? And you're going into a bye week. What do you hope to see as we go into the bye week out of this Madison Central game?
I think we're getting better. I really do, and that's such a good thing to see. We are. Our record is what it is, but we are battling, and we are getting better, and we are improving, and nothing has been easy. Everything this year, out of the 4 games, and I know it'll be the same way coming out of this game versus Madison. We're going to know what we can do, what we're good at. We're going to know and have a very clear picture of what our identity is, because we've earned everything that we've gotten. There's nothing come easy in this stretch. Our guys have getting better. There's been so many different ways that we've attacked things film-wise and trying to learn from every different aspect that we can in all 3 phases, and really felt like we've taken a good growth process. Our guys have had a good perspective about what we're in, and trying to get better, and been very coachable and really receptive to coaching. But we've been in instances, it's a close ball game the other night, in crunch time and winning time. There's a lot of things that we could have done better, and we try to pluck from that and move forward and continue to get better. But I've seen us run the ball better. Brandon was really good up front. We were able to run the ball effectively, not as well as we would have liked to have, but you saw the stretch in Grenada and Pearl where we really had a dominant run game, and we will continue to press that. We need to get some guys on the edges to really step up and take our passing game to another level. Defensively, it's our thing right now is we've got to be consistent. We've done really good. We look really dominant, and then we give up a big play or we miss a tackle. Like we're still, fixing that. Feel like we can We have the talent to be a really dominant defense, so we've got to be consistent with it. We've got to prevent big plays, and those two things will take us a long way if we'll learn from it. And they've done a good job of playing good team ball and learning and knowing their role and trusting the guy beside them. It's really important. But I've seen us take steps in the right direction on a weekly basis, so that's really encouraging and trying to get better and trying to grow and making sure that we're using this the way that we intended it for, and that's to make us a better football team.
And you got to like it too. You are playing some of the best in the state. Let's go ahead and be honest here. You're playing all 7A. All these teams, I would say, is going to be in the running for the 7A playoffs when it all shakes out. You got to be pleased that by week. Yeah, the Clinton game, yeah, we'll just watch that. But since then, how we've improved, you've got to be pleased with that.
Yeah, you talk about, and you were there, our Northwest ranking game where we just looked like discombobulated sometimes, and you've seen us grow and make those changes, and you've seen us turn the ball over 6 times early in the year, and you've seen us just consistently get better.
Yeah.
Defensively, I think we've forced 4 or more turnovers the last 3 games, which has been really encouraging. That's what we want to get to. So again, you're seeing a team that's growing, and you're seeing a team that's getting better. And if we can do that on a week in and week out basis, when November rolls around, really feel good about where we've come from and hopefully where we've gotten to at that point in time.
Well, other than team photo day, Coach, I imagine homecoming week kind of stresses you out, knowing that the distractions and everything that are around you. But let's talk about that as a coaching staff. How do you handle that approach to that week? Everybody's excited, everybody wants to have a good time, but as a coaching staff, to keep your cool, how do you usually approach that week?
Yeah, well, it's homecoming's a lot more enjoyable when you win your game.
Right.
It's the first thing that we always talk about, and the pageantry and everything that comes with it. That's for really other people. We have to get ready to play, and not just play a really good opponent, and we're trying to be the best us that we can be and fix mistakes from the previous week and finish our non-district schedule on a really good note. That aside, you've got plenty of distractions, and we try to address it, make sure our guys are aware of it, guarding themselves from it. But at the same time, you want them to have a good time. You want them to enjoy it. This is their high school career, and it's not mine. I want them to enjoy it. I want them to remember it with fond memories, and do things and be a normal kid. And I don't want to take that from them. So there's a fine line we try to walk. Got to trust our guys with it. Want them to enjoy it, but understand that when business rolls around, we've got to make sure that we're on point and we're giving it our undivided attention, because that's the only way we'll be successful in doing so. So, really kind of learned a lot over the years, and want them to enjoy it and have fond memories of it. So it's give a little, take a little there.
Yeah, so another week, another physical game. My goodness, we played some physical opponents, Coach, on both sides of the football these past few
That's
weeks.
correct.
How are we looking from the injury standpoint?
Well, we're a little banged up. Our backs are both a little gimpy coming out of the other night. EJ he'll be really a game time decision. You got to make sure that he's healthy and ready to go. Aiden's a little banged up, of course, running the ball and physicality, and so we're going to have to really monitor those guys well. We've got a plan if they're not able to go and look the way that we think they need to look. We want to keep the big picture in mind as well. So we're in a good spot. It's just those are two really big key players for what we do, and we want to make sure that they're at their best. And I know this, it'll be a tough conversation to have to pull them out, because they're both gamers and tough as nails. And if they'll go, they'll be ready to go. And so I'm gonna have to make a decision on that, and whatever that is will be on the best decision of what's for the team. But I feel like that they're going to get better. Just how soon, I don't know when. But tough physical ball games, as you mentioned, bumps and bruises. But other than that, we're good.
Caleb Lane and Chance Ward, I know two youngsters have been out for us. We're talking about bringing them back when region play starts, but are you going to try to speed that up or let them sit out
I
this
think
week?
Chance is going to dress out this week, and it's really good to see. He's one of our leaders and really worked hard, so very thankful for that. We're proud of his progression, and I feel like Caleb Lane will be back for district, so
Yeah.
very excited about those two as well.
Yeah, two good players, excited to get them back in the fold. So homecoming week, you kind of talked about your approach, but how do the kids respond to the teaching and the coaching this week?
Well, the first thing that we talked about was, we're holding them to a high standard. A lot of people would come in and pat them on the back and say, you played good and you were so close and you played a really good team and you're right there and fought good, and all that's true. But what we're trying to turn the page, take the next step, and so there's some pluses in it, some negatives in it, and we want to get better from it. And so we've had really good meetings, we've had really good conversations. We want to win. We want to win. We want them to be winners. And when that situation rolls around again, we want to be better in all those situations. So again, constructive criticism. Pats on the back. It's been a good week, and you don't get to fix those things if you're not playing at an elite level against really good teams, and all that goes under the radar until it's too late. So it's a lot to learn from. The big thing is we have to be consistent in everything that we do. Not perfect, but consistent, and that's staying in front of the chains, no negative plays, no turnovers, not doing something that's not my job defensively. It's being on point and having guys on the back end that can make tackles if we do mess up. So those things, and then finishing is really the big word. I mean, we 8-point lead going in the fourth quarter. We have to. People get paid a lot of money in sports to be closers, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, to finish out games. And we got to have our guys ready to do that and be better at finishing it and really taking over as a team, and just encouraging them in those aspects, bringing it to their attention and understanding this is why this happened, and this is how we could do better. And so those things this week has been good for us. If we'll take it to heart and be ready for it next time, it'll be all worth it. Yeah,
you just alluded to a lot of the topics, Coach, but what are some of the keys to beating this Madison Central team, a very good team this week?
Well, two very similar teams. I really feel like it's who does best at what we're both trying to do. I think we have to take care of the ball, number one. I think whoever wins the turnover battle will ultimately win this game, because I feel like it's going to be very close statistic-wise on both sides of the ball. Both good kicking games, both good defenses, both really good balanced offenses. So I really feel like the key thing would be mistakes. Who doesn't beat themselves? So turnovers would be good, and of course, who's able to establish the run the best. So those are going to be two really big factors in this game.
Well, Coach, best of luck to you. Always fun.
Thank you, Brandon.
Well, thank you for coming out last week to Brandon. Good crowd. Great crowd coming over last week. And I don't think we had any rain. At least I was in the press box, so it didn't bother me at all. But we're going to play this game this week against Madison Central and go into a bye week. Coach, what are you doing on a bye week? Do you watch ball or you just take a break?
Well, we work and get better, but we try to take as much as we can, because we know from that point on it's back to the grind.
But on Friday, that Friday
on
night,
Friday,
you sit at home.
We'll go home.
Yeah,
I will go home.
You go home.
I will go home.
Don't do anything. I don't blame you. I think I got a Powder Puff game. So yeah, come to the Powder Puff game next Friday.
That'll be a good one.
Yeah, we'll be here. But no, glad you came out. Glad you're going to join us this week. Next week we're not going to have a show. We'll be in a bye week. But in the following week, we will come back. We'll talk about this Madison Central game. We'll talk about what we do during a bye week here at Warren Central. And we'll prepare for the next season, which will be region play, taking on the Ridgeland Titans, going on the road for our first 2 weeks of region games. But it's hard to believe region is almost already here. We talk about Thanksgiving before we know it. That's going to do it for this week's edition of the show. For Josh Morgan, I'm Brandon Davis. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Until then, rise up, Vikings.